attack, fast fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and packs. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're just freaked out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and this is gonna be part 4, I believe, to What If Deku and Todoroki Were Brothers. Now, with that being said, a brief recap of the entire series, since it's been away for a couple weeks. Izuku Todoroki and Shoto Todoroki, while being trained by their father, their mother, she almost broke and almost cracked under the pressure. However, seeing how relatively happy and caring one of her sons were, still even though their father was basically doing all this stuff to them, and their intense training, it gave her the strength she needed to. She finally said that enough was enough, and she talked with Endeavor. And Endeavor, he learned about what was actually going on. Todoroki is beginning to refuse to use his quirk. And she was able to play to Endeavor's ego, stating that him trying to do this to them will make them eventually stop using their quirks, and not want to be heroes. So what he should actually do is let them push each other. He didn't believe this until he saw firsthand what was going on. And after some time, he began to at least listen to her advice. Whenever it began to work and these two began to push each other, you had him actually start trying to be a better father. And eventually, Dabi, he did try to get involved. His younger brothers, they always seem to be training and trying to push each other. Of course, that's what Endeavor's trying to get them to do. However, finding out that they're doing that on their own, it somewhat gave him an idea. It was a big decision, but he took it. He went through gene therapy and is currently going to UA. And that is the recap. Wow, that was long. Anyways, now, you do have a couple years later. So let us time skip over, well, I would say the rest of the couple years, but let's say, I believe that's good. Let's time skip 7 years, up to the age of 14. Now, Todoroki and, Izuku, they have been training a lot, learning about their quirks, developing them, and actually pushing each other. In this amount of time, Todoroki's fire quirk and ice quirk, they're fairly strong. Along with that, their older brother is now a pro hero, and has been for quite a long time. Now, the teacher, they are announcing exactly what is going on. What's going on today is quite simple. As he sets his papers down onto the desk, saying that they do have a few students who are going to try and attend UA. And actually, they do have 3 here that he believes are going on recommendation. As he asks them all to stand up. Yaoyorozu and the Todorokis. All these 3 standing up, and everyone just simply looking at them. Of course, they're going to get into UA. Their father's the number 2 hero, and that girl's dad owns a very, very big company. So it should not be a surprise. Now, with that, they do sit back down, and you do have lunch. Whenever lunch does arrive, Todoroki and Izuku, I'm messing up again. They are sitting at the table and talking with a few people. Some of them are asking questions about the recommendations and what exactly they might have to do, or if they're even going to try and go through the entrance exams. Now, with that being said, they do try and explain it. They're going to, well, talk to their dad and see if they can either take the recommendation or see if they can go through the entrance exam, like their older brother did. Since if their older brother starts giving them crap about it and they only go on the recommendation, yeah, they don't really want to hear him talk about it for the rest of their hero career. So they're thinking about doing that. Until Momo Yaoyorozu does actually walk up and begin to try and talk with these two, asking them if they're actually planning on going to UA. Both of them simply just saying yes. And Momo does begin to ask about their quirks. From what she knows, they have opposite abilities. Don't you... You're Shoto. You have a fire and an ice quirk if I'm not mistaken. And you're Izuku. You have a... I want to say water quirk? Nope. You're wrong. Really? Am I? Yep. I'm kind of the odd one out of our family. I have the ability the ability to manipulate earth and air. Oh, really? Yep. It's actually quite useful. I can do one thing here my brother can't. And what would that be? I can fly. Oh, what? Yeah, don't listen to him. He calls it flying, but really he just stand on a boulder and move it. Or keep himself afloat with air. It's actually not that impressive, but at the same time, some of the stuff I've seen him do with it is actually more versatile than mine. Yeah, but still, you can do that whole sliding thing, dude. Well, yeah, but you actually are able to stay off the ground. I have to keep going, otherwise I'll fall. Oh, come on, man, it's not that bad. Uh, excuse me? Oh, sorry. Anyways, did you have another question? Well, I've been thinking of training for UA. If I'm gonna get in on the recommendation, then I do at least want to try and be stronger. With my quirk, I'm not too sure if I could get through them. Oh, I'm sorry, what's your quirk? Creation. Creation? If I know how anything is made, I can make it. Oh, that's pretty cool, actually. Them having a bit more of a conversation and going over things. Momo, yeah, she's basically saying that she wants to train for the recommendations, and these two are going to train for the entrance exam. That's pretty interesting since the two are actually pretty close together. So that means they can actually work something out. A schedule to train on, and simply try and go up against a different opponent. However, Momo, she was quick to point out that she doesn't really want to try fighting them with her quirk. And they all do leave their school. I almost said leave UA. Now, whenever they do leave their school, she goes and gets in a limousine. While Todoroki and Deku, they simply begin to walk off. Todoroki's still trying to figure out some kind of hero design. And it's actually been getting a bit annoying. The two deciding to go over to a mall. Meanwhile, you do have the events over with Bakugo and, well, his school. Some kid is currently heading home and has gone through the tunnel. And they encounter the sludge villain this time. All Might blasts them away, and the kid almost died. Yikes, that would have been bad. Now, with that, All Might, he captures the sludge villain and leaps off. And the bottle, it does fall out of his pockets. Now, with that being said, Midoriya and Todoroki, they are currently talking about Hero Suit designs. Midoriya, what he's thinking about right now, yeah, it's a bit weird and tricky, but it seems simple enough. Todoroki, though, he's trying to go for something that would be fireproof and possibly ice resistance. Especially if he's going to be using both quirks. He can maintain a balance of them, yeah, but if he's in a situation where he only has to use one, he'd rather not go over a certain point, since he has, in this timeline, once overused his ice, and froze over a part of his arm once. Now, with that being said, while they are on their way to the mall, there is a bit of a commotion, and a loud explosion. This being where the two do run over, and find out what's going on. Now, instead of Bakugo being attacked by a sludge villain this time, he's actually ran in and tried to help someone, since the villain did try and capture him too. Bakugo is currently trying to blast away explosions, while the person who's trapped inside the sludge villain, they're trying to get away. And from what Midoriya can tell, it's some blonde girl. As soon as Midoriya runs through the crowd and sees what's going on, him and Todoroki, they somewhat look at each other, and try and get past the pro heroes. A lot of them telling Midoriya and Todoroki that they cannot get through, that this is simply a matter to leave to the heroes, as this girl uses her quirk. As soon as Midoriya sees this, he throws down his hands directly at the ground, this being whenever the floor underneath everyone simply just moves upwards, as explosions and, well, her quirk, it's shooting out in multiple different directions. Now, as soon as that does happen, some of the stone and stuff is destroyed, but Midoriya, he just builds up the wall and protected everyone. Pro Heroes actually just thanking this kid, as Midoriya just blasts himself upwards into the air, as Todoroki just leaps over the wall, and begins to try and blast fire at the sludge villain. While this girl, yeah, she's kind of incapacitated, and Bakugo is still trying to blast off explosions, along with trying to grab the chick out of there. Now, Midoriya does come flying in. As soon as he does, he simply just begins by spinning his arm around and trying to create a vortex. Everyone just watching as Midoriya, who's spinning his arm, he's actually building up quite a lot of wind pressure. And All Might does arrive to see this. 3 boys using their quirks. One just simply blasting off explosions willy-nilly, while the other 2 are trying to work together. Todoroki, he's trying to get in and freeze the sludge villain. Bakugo, he's basically just shouting for all of them to get the hell out of his way. He's got the situation handled. This asshole pissed him off. While Todoroki, well, Shoto, is telling Bakugo to simply just let them try and help. Midoriya is trying to blast up rocks and basically try and contain the sludge villain. Whenever the sludge villain tried moving to the right, a giant wall slammed upwards and directly smashed into the sludge. And whenever he tried moving backwards, Midoriya was able to contain him. That being where Midoriya, while he's still spinning back his hand, with a large gust of wind, moves himself forwards, and is able to immediately just throw out his hand. All the wind pressure and stuff that was building up in his arm, and his forearm, it was able to send a shockwave, and actually make wind blow in every single direction. The wall that was put up, it does help focus the air and everything upwards. While All Might, he actually does buff up and try to run into the situation. Whenever he does run in, he's able to actually get these three boys' attention. The sludge villain disappeared, and they're currently trying to look for the young girl. All Might simply just telling them that they have made some big mistake. The young girl, wherever she is possibly still in danger. Midoriya saying, no, she's not. And how do you know that, young man? Because she's right there. Midoriya pointing up towards the sky. This being where a large slab of rock is floating down. And the young girl, or the girl, is on it. Now, whenever it does get to the ground, All Might does actually try and ask her if she is alright, or if she is okay. To which, whenever she does look up at him, she simply has a bloody nose, and gives him a thumbs up. All Might trying to understand the situation. Now, some of her friends do come running, and ask her if she's alright. One of them just simply saying that she may have overused her quirk. And Midoriya, whenever he does walk up and try and ask that question about what exactly is her quirk, they say it's something like electricity or lightning. Midoriya, seeing this girl. And for those of you who are surprised or confused, female Kaminari. Anyways. Now, with that being said, after everything is settled, and Midori basically gives these girls his name, along with his brother's name, they do look at the explosive boy, saying that he really was not helping. Shut up! Now, Bakugo, yeah, he's annoyed and mad, but All Might does try and talk to these three. They did very well, and if they were to simply communicate a bit better, they possibly would have actually been able to take down the sludge villain relatively with better ease. Along with actually asking these two boys their names. As soon as he learns that they're Endeavor's son, or sons, it's very interesting. He didn't expect to run into both twins. And learning about both their quirks, it's fascinating actually. The young boy has an earth and wind quirk. Then there's his brother, fire and ice. That does make sense. Now, eventually these two do leave, and begin to head to the store to try and figure out what type of material they want to make their outfits out of. Now, along with that, you do have All Might, who, after scolding Bakugo and talking with him, does basically explain to Bakugo that whenever he misused his quirk like that, if he were to have hit that girl with it, she probably would have died. Straight up telling Bakugo that he needs to stay calm and collected with his abilities, since they are very, very dangerous. Now, All Might is also thinking, however, explosions. That is a very useful quirk. He will try and keep this boy marked down as a candidate, but that fiery personality, it's sort of a, well, deciding decision. If he can get that boy to curve it, then it will be good. If he can't, then the boy will not be his successor. Getting the boy's name, and basically him leaving. Now, along with that, you also do have the fact that he does begin to look around for the twins, eventually encountering them and talking with them, learning exactly why they're here, and their quirks, both half and half. The young Shoto, that's expected. Izuku, however, that is rare. Or at least probably rarer than Todoroki. Half fire and half ice, but then there's half air, half earth. It's strange. the boy is never defenseless. He can manipulate air pressure, and even possibly even create it from what he said. However, that's only whenever he's anywhere. However, on Earth, yeah. That's a bit stranger though. Now, after some time of talking, eventually they actually do get All Might's autograph. And they begin to go out shopping more, looking throughout the shops and actually ordering some materials. Now, you also do have that girl, or the female Kaminari. She is currently, well, she was able to somewhat get back to her senses, and she was very embarrassed about what happened. And her friends did actually inform her as to, well, what happened at the Sledgeland attack, since it was really the last thing she remembered. Her friends basically saying that two cute guys basically saved her, along with a third guy who seemed to be very hot-headed. And they do actually show her a videotape, or at least not a videotape, a video on their phones of what happened. As soon as she released her electricity, the guy threw up a wall of rock, then began to fly up into the air. And his brother jumped over the wall and began to use ice. The guy blasting away the ice, while his brother was doing something weird with his arm by simply just spinning when around it. Now, with that being said, learning that they're Todorokis, it's pretty weird. Now, the girl actually does want to find out his name, the guy who saved her, and actually thank him. Whenever she does actually look around, since her friends basically said that they headed into the shop over there, and then they saw All Might head that way looking for them, yeah. She basically went in the same direction. And eventually she ended up at the shop where they ordered materials from. Asking the guy about the two guys with white hair and the guy with a red ponytail basically. Or the red hair that he keeps tucked upwards, while his white hair is visible. Now, this is where the guy explains that they ordered materials and they're going to be here within a few days. Asking the girl exactly why she's looking for them. Her explaining the situation. They saved her from the villain attack that happened earlier, and she wanted to personally just say thank you. Especially since she probably just embarrassed herself in front of them. The guy, he tells her that they'll be here in a few days. Now, with that being said, I do believe that that is a good point to lead this off of. And I do hope you guys enjoyed. And this video was supposed to be out 20 minutes ago, but I've had to stop my recording because of interruptions and things that are going on. Well, at least not right now. Anyway, guys, I do hope you enjoyed.